4 o'clock.
You have joined the call, but you are the only one here.
Okay, this is City of Merrill Transit System, and it's July 7th at 17th at 4 p.m. and I'm going to call this meeting to order. And next is public comment. Do we have any public comment? No public comment. Okay, so next, approve the minutes of the June 2023 meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, it passes. Next is the administrator's report.
Ridership is good. We're on the summer ridership, so we've got some groups that are keeping things going. Employee status is
You have joined the
Not
call, but
changed.
you are the only one here.
still
So
short
with
to
the
part-time.
groups, do you have like a consistent, like every third Thursday you have a certain group or not necessarily?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
There's some park and recs things that.
But you'll have at least 1 or 2 groups a week?
Oh, at least,
Okay.
yeah. Kind-hearted actually is
Mhm.
probably 3 at least a week,
Mhm.
not 4. And then we have Park and Rec, we got some Parkside
Mhm.
ones. And there's, I think there's a St. John's one, you know,
Okay.
for the summer daycares.
Sure.
So, that's good.
And you have the library program also, don't you?
We don't get a lot
Don't you?
for the
Okay.
library program unless like the magic show was the
Right,
big one.
okay. Because I know, I think it's nice that the library does say, well, you get free rides to the movie, and, you know, it's good PR for us also. Okay, thank you.
Employee status hasn't changed much. In fact, it hasn't.
You have joined the call, but you are the
So
only
we're
one here.
still 2 part-time short. I had somebody say that they would talk to somebody that might be interested and they were gonna stop in the office, and that was a couple weeks ago, so I haven't seen that person at all.
Is that for part-time?
That was for a part-time position, yeah, so.
Okay, because we must have had a problem where they had it on Facebook or whatever on a Friday. You had to call your rides in because no one was answering.
There was, yeah, we had an issue where we have people, there's people on vacation, and then people called in sick.
So they knew they were going to be sick a day ahead of time.
They were gone 2 days
Okay.
for
Okay,
an
medical,
issue.
yes.
And so that gave us all of Thursday to figure it out, and I gave up the morning on Friday to come in to get things so that they
You
could
have
just
joined the call, but you are
ride
the only one here.
on during the afternoon. So everybody that had a ride booked
Mhm. Was transported.
was transported, and the drivers went to places like Walmart every hour. Even if there wasn't
Sure.
anybody scheduled, they went to those
There was
common
a-
places anyway, just to see if there was anybody else.
So you don't work on Fridays then, or?
I was supposed to be on vacation.
Oh,
Wow.
that's,
So did that work out okay then in that emergency to do it that way?
We didn't have a choice.
Okay.
Correct.
Would
It
that be
was- it was-
something you would do again if you?
If I had to, yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, the other option was run one bus,
Hmm.
but then who knows what would happen, because you'd have that driver just going in circles.
yeah.
Because there was so many conflicts with, you know, going across town stuff
Sure.
already, that we just made the choice and had to do what we had to do. And
Right.
Rick
You
was
have joined the
informed.
call, but
Yeah,
you are the
oh,
only
right,
one here.
and we heard it, you know, you did get the information out there, you know, so.
Yeah, we contacted the housing authority, and they put it in Jenny Towers, Stonebridge, and Park Place. And so we did get it out there as much as we could on Thursday with short notice. And it did work, with the exception of one of the buses was in an accident.
Oh, no,
But
Everybody okay?
everybody was fine.
that's good.
We got estimates and stuff. The garage is doing estimates, and we got it. It's not that much. damage on the bus, but it's just, it happens.
An expense.
Yeah, insurance covers, we have $1,000 deductibles.
Okay.
Okay.
It's really not that bad, just a couple panels.
Mhm.
So that's where we're at with the
You have
employee
joined the
thing.
call, but you are the only one here.
Sue had mentioned last time about maybe 2 full-time people. I can't come up with a way, I mean, I came up with something to do it, but it would not, I don't think it would be good. It would give us the extra people, but it cuts everybody's hours.
Oh.
By how much?
If we were to do it,
Or should we get that into
We'll
number
do that
5?
in, Restructuring employee.
oh,
Maybe
okay.
number 5, yes, okay.
Second quarter report, you guys all got that. Relatively speaking, numbers are back to a little bit above last year in some cases are a
You
little
have
bit
joined the call,
below.
but you are the only one here.
Mileage down is good, ridership up is good, means we're doing more people with less
Right.
miles. And when you see the dip in, revenues, that's common because there's no school in June.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is pretty normal.
Good.
So you get more ADA, elderly, and the groups
Mhm.
that don't pay quite as much
Correct.
per person, yeah.
So, I'm happy with these numbers, considering we're post-pandemic and
Mhm.
we're right back to about where we would be pre-pandemic, considering the decline in ridership that's been going on for years. So I think we're right where we should be.
Okay.
You have joined the call, but you are the only one here.
Entertain a motion to accept the second quarter report.
Also move to accept the quarterly report as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, then, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, it passes. And now, restructure employee to maintain coverage.
So as I alluded to earlier, kind of going with what we have faded on the board there that we can't get rid of. It would keep a part-time person, as that would too. It would keep a part-time person and hire 2 more full-time people.
You have joined
which
the call,
then-
but you are the only one
Anybody
here.
object to turning this off? Cancel.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
They would have called it by now.
Which actually drops everybody from, not everybody, it drops most of the operators to 3 days instead of 4, with one of them working 4 days.
The part-time.
Nope, full-time, full-time. And then the part-time works 4 days as well. And it would give your operators, operators 2 through 5 would get 31.5 hours per week, and operator 6 would get 32 hours per week, and the part-time person would get 11 hours per week.
Now they get 40?
Full-time?
Yeah.
Yes. But that would be one way to get to two full-time people, and that would, the advantage to that would be coverage for vacations. It would help cover vacations a lot better. And in the event that we have another catastrophic.
Mhm.
I think we would lose full-time people doing that, though. I mean, if they're
I-
going to be cut back by 7 or 8 hours a week, that's a big.
Because they get 40 hours now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If they're
They
down to
get
33.
40 hours.
Yeah.
It's a big cut.
It
It is,
That's-
yeah.
Would they still have benefits?
They would have benefits, however, the benefits would be prorated
Yeah,
Oh, they
the,
would be?
because they're not getting
Because
full
you-
40 hours.
yeah. I don't know about the sick time, but the pension would definitely be.
That I understand, yeah,
Yeah.
but, pension, but like, health benefits, would that be prorated?
That would be prorated,
It's all prorated.
Oh.
but that's the only way that I can come up with.
Okay, so we have 3 full-time right now.
Mhm.
We have 3 full. Okay, and you're looking at putting, with your system, 2 more full-time.
Well, I was suggesting one,
Okay,
Mhm.
1, okay.
and
Or can you do?
one and a part-time.
One, can you do 1 3/4 time?
Could you hire somebody at 30 instead of 40?
They would get the prorated benefits at least.
The prorated benefits, do that,
And that way we would have 4 full-time, 1 part-time?
Well, that wouldn't have to be considered full-time then.
It's
Be
30 hours.
It'd be like 3/4 time.
Yeah.
If you would hire it at that, then maybe that would be easier to
Mhm.
find.
Bill? Bill?
Because a part-time driver now is guaranteed how many hours a week?
and part-timers aren't really guaranteed. any
Okay,
amount of
so I guess
hours.
what average then would a part-time person have?
Their average,
Like right now?
Yeah.
you'd either get 15 or, right now it's either 15 or 12 and a half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they get 20, they're getting 27.
So it alternates between different,
Right.
Okay, our 2 part-time people, correct? One, A gets 12 and a half hours 1 week, and then B gets 15.
Correct.
And then
They
next
flip-flop.
week, yes,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
right, okay, so they're aware of that. Okay.
That's currently.
Correct.
Now,
They don't want to work anymore, I take it. That's,
no,
that puts them up to the limit of
that's,
affecting other things.
well,
Some people, yes.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
And it's 4 days a week, correct, right now?
No,
Part-time?
no, it's
Oh.
5 days a
Oh,
week.
part-time is 5, okay.
Yep, they're 5 days a week.
Okay.
Um, if we were to hire one full-time person, we would go back to that.
And are you
And
looking
that-
at that
and-
full-time person having 30 hours or 40 hours?
And that would be 40.
So you're looking at 4 people having 40 hours a week then?
Just drivers, right?
Just drivers.
Yes.
Not including, yeah.
And then would part-time be reduced?
so we 2 part-time
Yes.
or 1?
Then we would reduce to 1 part-time?
Well, with that, I think this is that one.
Page 40.
Mhm.
With that one, with just doing that, then we'd have 5, I'm sorry, we'd have 4 operators at 40 hours a week, and then that fills all the hours.
Oh,
So there wouldn't be any part-time.
okay.
I would like to maintain a part-time driver
Yeah, that's,
that would fill in. You know, if somebody's gone, at least can cover the morning part of things.
Mhm.
Because that would keep costs down, but with only hiring 1 full-time and eliminating pretty much the part-time positions, that would be bad in absences. It would create a lot of overtime in absences. versus what we have now, where we can, the system we have now, we can build in, it would have to build in 10.5 hours of overtime, 12.5 hours of overtime a week.
We can't have that.
It'd be cheaper just to
week?
keep it'd be cheaper
Holy
just to keep
cow.
a part-time.
Well,
Than
you
to be
spread it
paying
out
a
among
full-time
everybody.
overtime hours.
Those
No,
are
that-
times, right? You could spread it out among them? I'm sorry.
Right now,
I would
with,
think so, Denise.
because we only have 2 part-time drivers driving in the morning,
Mhm.
and then we have the 3 full-timers that are doing the rest of the day,
Yep.
covering the 3 routes. So there's a 3rd route in the morning that's not being done right now. We're covering it with 2. So what we did in the last year is whoever was on the 3rd bus came in early and got the 2.5 hours of overtime for the day. So they had 12.5 hours of overtime for the week towards the end of the year, during the school year. And that was, so that's only 12.5 hours. If you go to something like that, where now you take one of those persons out of the equation, and all of those people have to work 10.5 hours a week, or 12.5 hours, or 10.5 hours of overtime. So you'd be looking at 31.5 hours of overtime with a system like that, if one person's gone for a whole week.
For any reason.
If somebody's gone for a week, you're looking at 30 hours of overtime versus 12.5. 31.5 versus 12.5. So it gets really tricky without a full staff and
Yep.
trying to manage the overtime and keep the overtime to a minimum. I don't know how aware you guys are or anybody is of everything that's going on around City Hall, but the union, there's pushing in the transit department for the operators to unionize and become union.
Are there any other departments that have unions that you know of?
Police and fire.
Okay, police and fire. So they're looking at their own union?
It's their own, it would be a
Or their own
transit.
transit union? Okay. Okay.
So
So is
how
it-
that all plays into things, I don't know.
Okay. So they must be discouraged about something. Something's not going.
It's all about pay.
It's, okay, that's what I wondered, if it was salary.
It's all about pay because Wassa drivers are making more money
Well-
and
But now Brandy came up from Wausau.
she did.
Is there anything we can do about that?
No,
No.
you can't interfere with.
No.
Attempt to unionize.
You know,
No, I mean
it's
with
not
pay.
always greener on the other side.
And we can't interfere with it.
Yes.
To unionize, we can't interfere with it.
Right, but can we do anything
Try
about
to do something
pay?
to. The only, I mean, if it's all about pay, the only way to, would be to try to get a little more money. Trying to get that past the council right now would be a little tricky.
May as well talk to them all.
But if we would show an effort to try, would that
Denise.
help people feel better, that at least,
Um,
I'm just putting it out there
Right,
because
no,
I know
and-
nothing.
and-
Yeah.
I'm
and
just
so,
thinking.
That's
so
good
in the
questions.
past 2 years,
Yeah.
I have gone during budget time and brought up different things. And 2 years ago, it came out, 2 years ago, two budgets ago, everybody that has a CDL, and that's the entire city, everybody has a CDL, got a bump in a step.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so that was an attempt to help.
Okay.
And then last year, all of the non-union people got 2.5%, and the union people, the police and fire, because their contract stated that they were gonna get the 1 and 1, got the 1% and 1%.
Oh.
So the non-union people actually got more than the union people last year. How it would come out, I don't know. I mean, there's talk, there's, I mean,
Well, thanks for sharing that. That was good history. Yes.
so.
Do you think,
We've tried.
right, do you think, you know, as you say, the drivers talking and things like that, maybe, I don't know how often you have department meetings with them? Do you have meetings with them?
We don't have a lot of luxury to have a lot of meetings together. A lot of times things are done individually, past things. We do things through notes.
Okay.
Where we do try and have, I try and have one meeting where everybody gets together, and I try and do that right before school.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to plan it for
Correct, and I think
August.
that's a good idea, because I think you need to have the open, conversation with them, because, you know, they may say something that's off the wall, but part of that may be something, you can use something tangible out of that. Say, you know, that wasn't all, you know, so bad.
Yeah.
But do you think asking them maybe what, they could throw in some suggestions and say, well, how do you think, you know, we as a commission are wanting to know what we can do to relieve this stress?
They tend to believe that higher wages are going to bring in part-time drivers and full-time, and I don't personally foresee that.
Mhm.
You know, that they think that's part of the solution, and
Yeah,
of course,
it's-
money's always good.
Correct. But then you look at your benefits and your working conditions, your working conditions and things like that. You know, I would hope that our working conditions are favorable to all of our city employees. And I guess with Brandy, she obviously must have took a cut in pay to come up here to work then, if she was making more an hour.
Actually, I don't think she did,
No.
because she went from part-time to full-time. She was part-time there, came here full-time.
But, you know, she came up here and she knew what the wages were to, you know, so it can't be all bad.
The last few years, it has got so competitive out there, pay.
Correct.
And I somewhat agree with the younger generation, because I have a son going through this, and he's looking at the pay. And he just took a job down in Waukesha, and he's comparing the different jobs. He was offered many,
Mhm.
but he picked the one that had the most pay. Probably the hardest work with mandatory overtime any day of beyond up to 3 hours. So he could be working 12-hour days. But he's 30, just to give you an idea. So if they're thinking, if we can attract young people, I don't know what you guys think, but I hear a lot with that generation, they're looking at pay. Not the long-term benefits, like, you know.
And that's one
But we
reason we
did.
did the branding for the city also, to get younger people. That was
Yeah.
the reasoning for that, Denise.
Right.
You know, so it's not that we're not trying or
No.
considering it.
The city's
but-
trying to
Yes.
bring people in, and they've been trying, and that's what their strategic plan is all about.
That's good.
It's,
But I think any type of factory, probably, Sarah, you're always looking for good people. The city's looking for good people, you know. No matter if it's a financial, the stores, the mom and pop stores, you know, to retain or get good employees, they're changing their
It's
attitude.
harder and harder.
Yes, they're changing their
And so,
attitude about
it's-
working.
Mhm.
I
Like
mean,
you said.
you know, so you're the one that suggested we'll hire 2 full-time people, and in order for me to do that, I couldn't until something clicked and said, okay, well, this is how we can do it.
Mhm.
You know, if one person's gone, okay, we can still cover things.
Mhm.
If 2 people are gone, still really okay, not the best, but we're okay. Puts us back where we're at now. You know, I don't wanna see people's hours get cut, because then they're just gonna go,
Oh, right,
it's not
yeah,
worth
they
it for me anymore.
disgruntled, you know.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm asking is, do you think if you put out the email or whatever, you know, what would you suggest that we do in hiring? Do you think we need more part-time people and not full-time? Or do you suggest that we try to have, you know, 4 full-time people and 1 part-time person? You know, maybe they
Good
can,
ideas.
they would come up with something since they're on the road driving. I don't think it hurts to ask them.
Well, you ask them what needs to be done, and they're just gonna say, we need more money. I've done it.
Or another driver.
We need more money to get another driver.
Oh, that, so they need more hourly wage, and we need more money to get, they would like another driver.
They think, their thinking is, they need more money.
Okay.
Number one, they need more money. And number two, in order to get that part-time driver in there, that we have to pay additional employees higher wages. We have to have a higher wage to get
I'm not,
employees.
what do the
Unfortunate-
part-time people get now?
The same, they get the same as a full-time.
Okay.
Unfortunately, unless they come,
Wow.
unless they come to the budget meeting or they talk to their alderperson or something like that, that's not gonna happen. You know, we gotta be blunt with them. I guess we got to be honest. We're trying to help them. We're trying to do, I feel,
Do we need to do an intermediary step though before they go to the budget meeting? I mean, they could go to their alderperson.
Well, I go to the budget meetings and I fight for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it, right, Rick?
Yeah.
You do, okay,
Definitely.
and.
You know, I mean,
yeah, that's the
I'm
reason
the
he's in that
reason,
position.
I'm the reason everybody got a CDL step grade, because I
Okay.
fought for our employees.
Mhm.
Last year, the 2.5% across the board for everybody was just a city thing. You know, despite what you say, and let people know that, you know, there's other cities out there that got 8%. There's cities out there that got 6.5%. They got 4.5%. They got 5.75%. We got 2.5% in Merrill.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, you take your 2.5% in Merrill and you take 8% in Wausau.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's sort of saying, my taxes are so high, what is my taxes going for? You know, so you have your taxpayer that we have to also say that this is the reason for that. We have the taxpayer that is.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's really,
We got a problem.
Yeah.
it's really a catch, you know, I mean, what do you do, where do you do it, how do you do it?
Yeah.
How do you restructure it? I mean, we got school coming up and we're short a person to drive a route in the morning, which quite honestly puts me right back at 12.5 hours a week of overtime.
Do you think it would be easier to hire a part-time driver than a full-time driver? Even if it was like 20 hours a week?
We have had an ad for part-time drivers
Constantly.
constantly.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't run it in the paper anymore because it just doesn't pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the
The
city
radio is
website.
free.
And it's on the
We
city
get it.
And it's-
website.
yeah.
It's on the city website, it's
Employment
been there
site.
forever.
Well, on the other end too, I'm just thinking weird again, but less hours. Would we be able to get more part-timers that want to work less per week? No?
So they all work 5 days a week no matter what part-time?
Right now, yes.
But if you got another one, they would be able to rotate?
Nope, they would be all 5.
They would all be
All
5
be
days a week?
5.
Yep, 5 days a week in the morning, and it's from 6:45 to 9:15 or 9:45. And so that would.
If you're
then-
talking seniors, you know, that want to get back into the work, I would think they would like something like 4 days a week,
Mhm.
you know? I mean, thinking so that if, you know, they needed an extra day of rest.
Yeah. Long weekend.
Yeah, or it wouldn't even have to be.
You'd have to also
a
have 4 part-time drivers in order to offer it.
And that's what I'm
How
still
many?
looking for the 2
Four
part-time drivers.
part-time,
Four
because then you could
part-time to
rotate
offer
them
that.
to be able to have them have a day or 2
If I
off.
have 4 of them, each one of them gets a day off.
That'd be a blessing.
You would rotate.
Maybe that would attract a few more senior type people,
I'm just looking,
young parents.
you know, at the tech, you know, to, if someone needs a cook or something, you know, put your name at the tech, you know, through that, just
Training, the
correct,
career.
correct paths and things like that. Okay, you're going to school, but you do need a part-time job, and this is mornings only, or,
Mhm.
you know, because there's got to be some students that are looking for.
Mhm.
Is there an age,
I was gonna say,
Or
are there
the-
21 or 18?
CDL requirements, yeah, 18, yeah.
With a CDL.
You know, people going to learn how to drive
We
those big
train in
semis.
CDL, but
Correct.
Yep.
You see them around town all the
you
time.
start,
Correct.
you start
Not
thinking
essential.
about
Technically.
hiring young people that are going to school to train them for a CDL, and that's not, it's not a quick process. You know, so
So
we're
then-
investing a lot of money into them.
Okay, so then we're really looking for semi-retired people.
So, yeah, really, that's what we're
usually
doing.
Okay,
Mm.
maybe we need to go to the enrichment center. And when they have their Thursday men's cards and the ladies,
Mhm.
you know, day to do crafts.
Mhm.
You know, maybe, you never know.
Little talk.
Correct.
Have one of those little blocks. You ever get the
Mhm.
monthly thing? It says who's
I,
talking.
you know, because those are people there that is what you're looking for, or they know people in that demographic that, they know of someone possibly.
Mhm.
Kitty, you're down there.
They have a men's coffee collection group, I don't know on what days, but, you know.
Please, please.
That's a great
There's
idea.
an
That's
event,
cool.
something like that.
And
Oh gosh, no, truck drivers,
What's
truck
her
drivers.
say?
She said retired truck drivers. I said, no.
But you know,
Truck
we-
drivers are the hardest ones to,
Make
Yeah.
happen.
But you know, but also the women, you have a lot of
Able to work
women
with
Right.
that drive school buses.
Yes.
So, yes, so that's
Yeah.
a possibility.
I think I'm gonna be going to the Tuesday, we call it the guys group.
You are?
Yes.
It's
Tomorrow, I
Tuesday?
think tomorrow, yeah. The friend I'm gonna go with, if he has something going on with his mom, then she might be going to Pinecrest. So
Sure.
if she is tomorrow instead of today, then we probably won't go, but the plan was to go. I don't know who all goes there. There might be some guys that are interested in something
You
like that.
never
I'll
know,
mention
or
it.
they may know someone that
Yeah.
possibly.
And my neighborhood men go to coffee at Golden Harvest every Wednesday. Like Don Dunphy and his little group,
Mhm.
my neighbor Gerald, and
Sure.
I think Mr. Cornia, he
Okay.
did drive some of the buses for the enrichment. I
Okay.
don't know if he still, like the field trips they take.
Sure.
yeah.
I'm not sure
Well,
he's
there
working
there
now.
was on a trip I took last week, there was a lady that, I think her last name was Waller, but she drove the bus, she drove the,
She drove your bus?
yeah.
They're driving Lily, I don't think Lily requires a CDL.
No, it's a
Oh,
small
it
bus.
does?
Yeah, because it's only
Oh.
18 passengers.
You need like
Yeah.
a school bus driver,
Yeah.
that would be.
And that's why the enrichment
That's
center
why
can
they
get
can-
people to drive
Oh,
Lily.
Yeah.
They don't
okay,
need a
I
CDL.
thought they
But
had
still,
to have that.
but
too.
still, it's, you have females that do it, and they'd be just as fine.
And I know a few former Wausau school bus drivers that aren't doing it anymore. Maybe just put a feeler out to them.
Right.
Oh, you know, women, middle-aged, older,
Sure.
like younger than all of us.
Correct. Yeah.
No.
That's cute. To be seen.
Well, okay, that's a great idea.
I mean, if you know those people, that's great, ask them.
Ask, okay.
It's just hard, I mean, because recruiting, I can't go like, stand over at Wendorf's parking lot and go,
Stand
Well, you
by
know
the
it.
sign.
go through the parking lot while all the drivers are out driving
Right.
and stick notes on the windshield like they do.
Yeah,
We won't
And can't do that.
We won't stop you.
Can I do that?
You can.
I can do that?
Yes.
I can do that?
Yeah.
Put little happy notes?
Mhm.
You know, so, but I mean, school's coming
Yeah.
Yeah.
faster than we can
In a-
think. I started putting kids in for school already
Oh, yeah.
today.
You should tell the kids to ask their parents if any of them are interested in writing.
So I mean, I really don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Right. I was gonna say, what would be your
I've even thought about, like, we used to have that shared person between transit and Park and Rec.
Mm-hmm.
But that would only be a part-time person.
Well, every little bit would
I was
help.
gonna say better than nothing.
What happened
We
with
look
that?
at, trying to
Did they end up being full-time?
They ended
Park and Rec?
up, full-time for us, is what
Okay.
that person ended up doing.
Okay.
what the actual
This would
position could
be-
be recreated?
No, so we could take and, but I could take and make this one. Oh, so I could make this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. How can I do that? This one, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Oh, yeah, one, no, what am I thinking? I don't know.
Do you think your drivers would prefer having the day off and working the 4 long days, or having 5 days a week at the hours they're working at? Like, compared to that one?
Compared to this, well,
Yeah,
this
like what
pretty,
they-
this pretty much is this with added stuff in to take
Yeah.
hours away.
But if they got their 40 hours, but we're working 4 days a week, long days?
This gives them 4 days a week.
Yeah, which do you think they would prefer?
They would prefer 4 days a week with Fridays off.
Yeah.
Well, it may not be a Friday.
It would get-
Honestly, that's the answer. If they're
Okay.
if they're gonna work 4 days, they want Fridays off. Well, I'm sorry, but you can't
Everybody's
have
on
that.
Friday.
No,
This
that's fine.
particular scenario gives every third week or fourth week,
You would rotate,
you get
Yes,
Fridays.
you were, yes, exactly.
Yes.
which is fair.
So every third or fourth week, you get Fridays off. Otherwise, you get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday
Yeah,
off.
right, that's,
You know, so you might.
So they
might-
don't mind the long hours?
No, because then, quite honestly, they're overtime hounds anyway, so they take all the overtime they can get. It's just not budget friendly.
well, that says a lot right there. If they want the overtime, doesn't it? They're okay to work longer days.
Oh yeah, they'll take it.
So the job isn't that strenuous that it inhibits their ability to do their job well.
No,
Okay.
they don't have a,
Okay,
I don't think they have an overly strenuous job.
okay.
They do what they do, and they all do it very well.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good to know.
So it's not a working conditions thing, I don't believe.
Mhm. But on top of that, everybody's stressed out because of the,
Yeah, so
Those
that's,
people are
but that's
missing.
where the stress comes from, is
Yeah.
oh, now they're working all these hours,
yeah.
and, yeah, one thing leads to another. But, you know, if you're looking at it from a budgetary standpoint, leaving things the way they are is probably the most effective,
Mhm.
because now we're limiting to 10, 12 and a half hours of overtime a week versus what it could be if somebody's on vacation. And you're still keeping the part-time people, which will, some of them, one of them will help out in the afternoons if we need it.
Okay.
And Lori can also drive.
And Lori can also drive. And Lori does drive.
Okay.
And Lori
Yeah.
drives.
Things are bad if Lori's driving.
yeah.
Really?
And Lori was driving, it was Lori and somebody else on that Friday.
Mhm.
So it's just, school's coming and I'm trying to get ahead of it and get things planned. And Lori was asking me today, she says, well, what's the plan for drivers driving for school? I'm like, I don't really know. I mean, we're trying to come up with a solution. What's the solution? if you hire another full-time person, which, first of all, that's not gonna happen until after the first of the year, because it has to be budgeted, because you're talking about insurance and everything like that, so that's gotta go through budget. And so if the budget, if that budget were to get approved. Now, I have talked to Kathy about the possibility of the union, so she's aware of it.
So are Corey and Rod also?
They're aware of it. Mayor's aware of it.
Okay. That's fine. Okay, well,
So I'm open for ideas,
Okay.
you know, like I said, I have that.
well, you know, and I think you go to your drivers and you say, okay, where we have to be realistic. We are not gonna be raising our wages. We're realistic, but what do you think, if we can hire someone, what would be, you know, your suggestion or plan? Some of them have to have some ideas, or at least throw something in.
Or just like some questions, would you be willing to work, you know, like, what, 45 hours, or whatever it is, 12 hours a day, 4 days a week, just put some questions out there, and then like ask, what do you see? How can we make this work if our budget is as is?
They're gonna tell you you're not gonna hire another driver without raising the wage. That's where they think the issue is. They think the issue is we can't hire a driver because we're not paying enough.
And
Okay, well,
what do you think our issue is then? That's what they think. What do you think our problem is that we can't hire a driver?
No, we have the same issue as every place else.
Okay,
Nobody wants to work. That's,
see?
And drivers are contracted.
and drivers, there's been a driver shortage for the past, let's see, I've been here for 8 years, and I was there for 7 years. At least for the last 15 years, there's been a driver shortage.
So it hasn't just been the COVID and stuff?
No,
that-
no. Before I came here and when I worked for First Student
Yeah.
and hired drivers there, if you filled out an application and you came in for an interview and you could legitimately answer questions and could pass a drug test,
You were hired.
pretty much got a job.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's how bad that industry is.
I think it's made worse because of everything after the pandemic, but
Yeah.
because it's even shorter now, but you're
I
right.
mean, COVID has made it worse because you had a lot of people that were up in service years, up in age, that when COVID hit and everybody was just, I'm not wearing a mask on a bus, and, you know, drivers are being assaulted, and all these people just went, that's it, I'm done, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
And that just created more of a shortage. COVID didn't help.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct, not a thing.
So I'm,
Well, other things happening in the world where I think that all has to do with it.
Yep.
just getting verbally assaulted is so common nowadays. Sad.
Okay.
so
So do we have a plan? Or-
right now, my plan is to run as we are,
Okay.
unless somebody comes up with something better. Because honestly, I think the 10.5 hours overtime a week is during the school year, and it's only during school days. So if kids are on vacation and there's no overtime for that person. I think, quite honestly, that's probably the cheapest, easiest solution. Drivers share the overtime throughout the year.
Hmm.
Like I say, the other alternative is, you know, you can look at something like that where you hire a full-time person, but then you're totally eliminating all the part-time people.
That I think would be hard to do. I mean, it's just because the part-time people fill
They fill
the needs, but, you know, a more flexible way of handling things.
Well, they're not flexible if they only work the mornings, though.
So, I mean, if we were to do something like that, the potential
They're
of,
only mornings.
But then you and Lori would be like the substitutes. Is that, I mean, if somebody had to be gone, you had the extra full-time and no part-time,
and no part-time,
then who would be the substitutes?
well, that puts Lori on a bus
Yep,
at times.
The PD.
yeah,
You know, I mean, that puts Lori on a bus at times, and then,
or the bus can't run.
depending upon who's all gone, you know, I mean,
Yeah, and obviously you scheduled the vacations so they don't overlap. But sick time, you know, they're accruing their sick time and
Yeah.
benefits.
you know, some things you just can't avoid. and,
Correct.
You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
and how do you avoid
Yes,
certain things? You just
Yeah.
can't.
you fall and you break your leg, or a crook.
That is,
Exactly,
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
exactly, yeah.
That's an accident, geez.
you're in a complicated position.
Ask your friends, Denise.
I will
Ask
check
your
check
friends.
it around.
Pass the
yeah.
word. And for the younger folks,
Yes.
we offer one heck of a retirement package.
Right.
If we can get somebody in here.
Yes,
The
to
best
talk
retirement
about
plan in the
that.
world. Yeah.
You know, I mean, the Wisconsin retirement system is
It's
Yeah.
the best
phenomenal.
in the
It's
country.
Best in the country.
Yes, it is, and I
Yeah.
think we need to speak up and put that in our advertisement.
Try and promote that. I mean, you can find-
Definitely.
You know, then you try and find somebody, okay, that wants to do it part-time until somebody retires.
Right?
So now, you know, we had a guy in here that he was all set, you know, to go. He was gonna work, and then he needed full-time. And we couldn't keep him because we didn't have full-time. So we had to lose him.
Yeah.
And he was really good too.
Oh. Wow. Yeah,
Okay.
just that benefit right there.
And we can look at,
Amazing.
I can look at talking to other department heads,
Mhm.
doing a share thing again, maybe.
Yeah.
Even
Yep.
just to get people looking at the extra person.
Mhm.
But if
Couple
you
hours.
do half a person,
What would be the other departments besides Park and Rec?
the streets or
The
You know,
street
keeps your water,
department?
people drive, yeah.
Okay, would that include like garbage recycling people, drivers?
If they drive well, that's a real small department though. That's just a
Oh.
couple people now, I think.
Yeah, now
Yeah,
they
that's-
only
We're
need
talking
one
more like
person on
street
there.
art.
That's why they
Oh,
did that,
okay,
Denise.
okay, right,
That's
they
what
scaled
touched on
that.
it, yes.
The water
Right.
department, maybe?
Well, the street department has the most people who can drive.
I see
so
them.
maybe Parks and Rec. They all have to have CDLs after a period of time. So if we were to do a shared person right now, that would fill our part-time in the morning and work for them after that. That might work. That might be some option.
Or then you also have the flexibility to be able to maybe have them longer if something does come up.
Right.
Mhm.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, Dan was pretty flexible last time. You know, where that would maybe fill our part-time position right now.
Mhm.
Denise, you talk to your friends.
Yeah.
Katie,
Please.
you talk to your friends.
Yes, I will have, I've got
So-
2 in mind.
You have to talk to everybody that comes into the bank too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the check, you can have a bigger check to
Yeah.
cash.
Yeah.
You're cashing this little thing, just think.
You need a loan here.
All right, I got a job for you.
Wait, but I got an opportunity, not a job, an
An
opportunity.
Opportunity, that's right.
Okay.
So those are, but for right now, I would like to, I guess, soaking up 10 hours overtime is easier than trying to fill a full-time position right now, which can't be filled anyway, so,
And losing your 2 part-time then.
and then losing 2 part-time.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Now, if the 2 part-time positions were in jeopardy, then I'd be more about it. But until that point in time, let's keep them.
Yeah, I would agree.
Anything else on the restructure employee to maintain coverage?
Shared for school.
Okay. Then, future agenda items.
And what I'll do is I'll talk to the other department heads.
Okay.
Okay, sounds great.
I'll talk to those people at the meeting. I'll either go
Denise, you bring back
tomorrow
your
or
report.
Thursday.
I will bring back my
Can you bring
personal
back your-
contacts. I know their first names and last names and phone
Swing by, swing by, I'll get some business cards, you can pass them out.
Oh, I have no problem passing stuff out.
Yeah.
I can do that. Do you have business cards?
Absolutely. In the office, I didn't bring, I don't just carry
I'll
them around.
stop by and get
I'll get some when we're done.
All right, okay, excellent. Why not, right?
Yeah, right. I agree.
I walk on my street every day and I talk to everybody, so.
Well, even
You're
if
healthy?
They would know somebody.
They
You know,
might know
do you
somebody.
do drugs?
Yeah, right.
On Easter, well, we're mostly
Right.
retired on
Yeah.
my street, so
Yeah.
they'll.
So they're all high all the time. I know how this
High on
goes.
life, retirement, I know, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well deserved. Right, Katie? Needed.
Next meeting date?
Yes, and the next meeting date will be August 21st, 2023 at 4 PM in the City Hall Council chambers. Okay.
Make a
entertain-
motion to adjourn.
Yep.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned.